Ah, fantastic. Obviously, obviously, it's incredible just for the fact that we're here, and yeah, a lot of emotions come up when I drive into the muster site each year, because I remember as a young unknown artist driving in here, and for the very first time, I'd only ever seen it on TV, or back then it was CMT. I'd only ever seen it on there, and it was always this. I built this thing up in my mind, thinking, "Wow, the Gympie Muster, this thing, that must be the number one event for country music artists." And so I was sort of dreaming of it like that. And I came here, and I kept coming back year after year, and it's still the exact same kind of emotion. It's still in my mind, and still I believe it's that iconic country music event. So usually usually after you do things a few times, you sort of get a little bit okay with it, a little bit. Oh yeah, no worries. It's old hat now. But I still get those kind of little butterfly feelings when I drive in. It's like ooh, ooh. So it's nice because as a bit of a an older performer as such, and been doing it for 20 odd years or something. Some things lose their charm, but not the muster. It could be. It could be. It was either that or no one else was available. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's for me. It's easy to gush about the muster. I just believe it's such an iconic event for Australia, not just for country music. I always say to people if they ask me about it, and they say, "Oh, so what's the muster like?" And I say, "Look, it doesn't matter if you like country music or not. You will love this event. You can't come here and not have a good time." And the most anti-country music people, that you can find, I've seen them be converted and come out going, "Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. Wasn't what I was expecting," and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, they must have continue. So I'm kind of thinking it's like the closing ceremony to the Olympic Games. This is the Gympie Muster closing ceremony. Without the you know 3,000 dancing girls and fireworks and twirlers and stuff. For a person coming to the muster for the first time and just being a part of the crowd, where I think they get captured is even before they walk, through the gates where you've got to show your pass and everything. The atmosphere catches you right at the front gate, 2 kilometres that way. You're going past all these campsites, and people are obviously putting a lot of effort into their muster homes. So even as you're walking past that, you're thinking, wow, look what these people are doing. This is pretty crazy. So you start getting this sense that this is a pretty big deal, before you even get to the gate to go in, and then all of the venues unfold, and you can hear the sound of music just wafting through the forest. It's pretty hard not to get excited, no matter what your music, your favorite type of music is, or no matter who's your favorite artist, or it doesn't matter. It's the atmosphere that catches you. It's kind of an album that I didn't set out to make. Usually, when you when it comes around to that album time, it's been a couple of years. The manager gets on the phone and says, "Hey, I think you better start thinking about doing an album," or the record company, and you embark on this project like building a house. All right, I got to make an album. So you go out, look for the songs, and then you get the songs, and then you go into the studio, and you an intense 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you build this project with an end goal in mind. Okay, it's going to look like this. It's going to, this is going to, all the songs are going to be in this theme or whatever it is. I had none of that for this album. It was COVID time. I was just driving around Australia in a big old bus in the outback, and I just started randomly collecting songs. I'd go into the studio. A mate of mine in Perth, we were over in Perth at that stage on that big trip, and I just did one song. Then a month later, I thought I might do another one, and just randomly started, recording songs. Not thinking I was going to make an album, just for the hell of it, basically. And then that kind of continued. And then it got to a point sort of towards the end of last year, I thought to myself, actually, I've got a few songs here. Maybe I should maybe I should put them all together and call it an album, So what I guess I'm trying to say is I didn't have any of the pressure to build a project, build an album. There was no end goal in sight. I was just making music because I had the time and because I felt that I wanted to, which was really an interesting way of doing it for me. I'd never done it like that before. And in some ways I thought, okay, because of all these little pieces of the puzzle, all these different songs are coming at different times, and maybe from, there's a couple of songs there that I'd written 10 years ago. Oh, I'll throw that on there. And then here's one I wrote yesterday. I'll do that one. The thought to myself was, I wonder if this is going to be cohesive if I put it on an album. Is it going to sound like, a jigsaw puzzle with all the wrong bits in it? But I think someone was there was some method behind the madness that I didn't even realise myself, but it all feels like it came together. And I was gravitating towards songs that were telling a story, and for me, the story is family, is giving everything you have to the things that mean the most to you, all or nothing. It's the passion that you have about the things that mean the most to you. And in my case, it's my family. And in many people's cases, I think it's family. So the songs all came together and told this story, which again, I was kind of surprised that it told a story because it was, lots of bits of the jigsaw puzzle. But it feels right. It feels right for this point in my life, and I'm pleasantly surprised and happy that it's turned out this way. I would love to, I mean, obviously this weekend was a big weekend with the album release, and so there was lots of things I had to do. I was in Melbourne for a couple of days and doing shows and things, and so I haven't been able to, experience the muster as I'd like to usually, which is hang around for 2 or 3 days and make a pest of myself. But if I get asked back, then I will definitely make a nuisance of myself next year. And bring the girls, they'll love it. We love camping. We love, obviously, we love music and events. And if I can get Pepper a gig, because she's actually exceptional on Moana, Frozen. And she's just, she's a shining light. She should be on main stage. If you delve back into the archives of muster performances, might have been early 2000s, I think. I had, during the week earlier, I'd come up to the muster and I'd brought a little Pee-wee 50 motorbike. And I went a few days before, I went to the shop and just bought it. And I brought it to the stage before the performances started, and I got the crew to tie it up on ropes with abseiling ropes, and strapped it to the ceiling of main stage. So it was up there in the rafters, and there was a strategy behind it. During my show there, I spotted I was going to get a little kid up on stage, and do something special. I spotted these two little brothers. They're obviously brothers. They were dressed the same. They were same haircuts. They looked exactly the same. And I said, let's get these little kids up. And they got up on stage with me, and I got them singing Dirt Track Cowboys. And at the end of the song, I said, "Oh, you've done such a great job. I want to give you something, I must have something around here. What's lying around I can give you?" And as I said that, the guys side of stage started lowering this Pee-wee 50, from the roof. So as it's descending from the roof, I'm sort of visually looking around the stage, and the whole crowd can see this because they'd obviously lit it up, they had forewarning. And this little Pee-wee 50 was just floating down from the ceiling. and the crowd was going nuts, you know, and then the boys spotted it, and they're like, oh, yeah, there's a motorbike coming out of the sky, you know. And it came down and it landed. Whoa, what's this? You know, and obviously, you know, it was set up, but these boys, their eyes were as big as plates, and I said, would you like to have a ride of it? You know, yeah. And so I actually ended up starting it up. I mean, this is a proper, you know, working little PV50. And anyway, I said to the boys, would you like to have this? Yeah, Mum and Dad, you know, can we, you know? And anyway, those two little fellas left the muster with a new little motorbike, you know, and those two kids to this day, they come and see me at shows. They're not kids now, they're grown up. One of them's got a kid of his own. But it just goes to show that memories and, you know, experiences and amazing things can happen at this event.